Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show and radio talk show. This is where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching. Every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. on the Central Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can still find us on television. Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You Texas people are watching the show out there. Appreciate that. You can also find us on Abundance Television, and you can find us on the Newscaster Studio. That's where the podcast is found. And also new, and we're now part of the radio world again. WZLA, they are the biggest country station in South Carolina. They take great pride in that. And they play all of the older stuff. Now, when I say older stuff, I'm talking about the 70s stuff, like with Alabama, Feels So Right, and all those wonderful songs out there as well. But they even go back further than this. I've heard some like original Hank Williams. Why don't you love me like you used to do? And all of those things. My granddad used to sing that to my grandmother. He'd say, Jenny, why don't you love me like you used to do? Why don't you treat me like a worn out shoe? He would say, sing that song to her. So I grew up hearing some of those songs just from my grandparents. But go check them out. You can find them on the web, WZLA.com, WZLA.com. They have some great things. We have some brand new sponsors with us too. I wanted to talk about some of those. Honey Baked Ham. It's Thanksgiving coming up. By the time the show airs, you'll be looking for some Christmas treats. Check them out. If you don't like ham, you're not quite into ham, which I can't imagine nobody is. But anyway, you can also find their roasted chicken is absolutely fabulous. And their roasted turkey doesn't taste gamey at all. It tastes really good. So go ahead and get those honey baked hams ready for the holidays. And you'll be glad you did. And another one, I think there's one of these in your neck of the woods, guys. It's called the Eggs Up Grill right here. And there's breakfast and lunch, and it's to die for. So if you're like a breakfast person, they're not open for supper now, but you can find them for lunch and for breakfast as well. And they serve breakfast during those two meals. But I'm giving away a $25 gift card every Friday. And then Honey Baked Ham, along with all of our other sponsors, we're still giving away those gift cards. Honey Baked Ham, another $25 gift certificate. And that, again, is every single Friday. And I wanted to mention to you my Patriot Supply. A lot of folks are actually going through them. They're thinking about when they pass away, what's a good thing to leave with your kids? Food. This food will last 30 and 40 years. Check out our website, donnasedge.com, donnasedge.com. They're doing a lot of buy one, get one frees. And that's going to last through the holidays. Now's a good time to stock up if you're a little bit concerned about the supply chain, which I always am. I'm beginning to see a few things are about to happen, I think. But if you're a little concerned about the supply chain, go to my Patriot Supply, go to my website. And if you do, that kind of helps me out a little bit. And if you want to buy your supplies, we definitely appreciate you doing that. My Pill is still with us. Bobby Ledbetter, Twin City Used Car Sales, all of those guys still with us as well. But thank you again so much for being part of our world. Continue sending email. It makes my day. I'm just telling you what that does for me. I love hearing from you. Donna at donnasedge.com, Donna at donnasedge.com. If you want to be part of the giveaways we have, you got to let me know. Okay, so I'll put your name in the box. Now, if you don't win this week, your name still stays in the box. So if it's 2 years before I draw your name, it stays in the box. Okay. I had somebody from Fort Payne said, well, I just forgot about you. I thought I wasn't ever going to win anything. And it was probably 3 years ago when they entered their name that they finally won. So anyway, if you don't win this week, you just keep waiting. One day it's going to be your ship will definitely come in. I have Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey with me right now. They're with Alabama Fair Tax, AL Fair Tax, and I see some things happening, and I'm beginning to wonder if Trump is going to do fair tax. There are just some things, the tariffs, we've talked about that, but other things. I'm beginning to wonder, like no tax if you own your home.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Is he toying around?
Well, that would be a state thing, but
you're talking about property tax.
Property tax,
right?
That would be a state tax. But yeah, what we need to do is get a state to have a fair tax, and then also remove the property tax and show what can really be done with that combination. And I think you'd see a flurry of activity across the United States.
Mm-hmm. Well, Alabama, you better start working on it, because I'm just telling you, North Carolina is getting heavy.
Well, Georgia is too.
Senate is talking about it on the trail everywhere he goes. When he's on my show, when he's on other people's shows, that's basically his grandstand is fair tax.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good.
It'll be
Glad to
interesting
hear it.
how well he does against the other guy, because I guess it's Watley that's running against him, and he's a fair-head guy for Trump. So it'll be interesting to see how that all turns out. The thing about it is, we've been trying to get Congress critters to do this for years and years and years, and they're just not listening evidently, because they're the elite. They are elite, most of them, and they lose out if they have if the income tax goes away, they lose out, because that's their bread and butter. That's how they get money in their pockets. So that all goes away with the fair tax, and at the state level for us, the Alabama Economic Freedom Act too, because it's a clone of the fair tax. And if you got rid of all that stuff, you'd have for instance, if Alabama was first and they got the property tax too, you'd have a stream of economic growth from Alabama to everybody else. But if you had the Fed involved, it would be a stream of economic growth there, and then a stream of economic growth across the whole United States. Mm-hmm. So it's just, and a lot of the things he's doing, they're little snippets of what the fair tax is. No tax on tips. No, she says I can't do hands.
I know some at all.
He's doing hands.
Yeah, that's
doing it too.
Yes,
doing it.
Yeah, I love this one gal that gets on and she goes,
Get on your hands. Chuck, I think if someone cut your hands off, you couldn't say a word.
No.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from on this, because I'm just telling you, the first one to do it is going to be the haven for new businesses coming in. And this helps big businesses, big corporations, and small businesses. So everybody's got a fair shake.
I was going to say, a lot of things he's doing they're snippets of the income of the fair tax. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on this, no tax on overtime. All of that stuff, it's all covered by the fair tax and the Alabama Economic Freedom Act. All those taxes go away. So whenever you buy something, you pay your tax, and you're done with tax until you buy something again, a new product or service.
Yeah, the one thing about the income tax is it's structured to keep the wealthy wealthy,
right?
Because they have maneuvers that they can use to actually. There are a lot of really wealthy people who have no income at all. All of their money comes from other structures. Actually, debt is their way of making money. So it sounds counterintuitive, but that's what they do.
What Mary Lynn is trying to say, is that all of these people they have a lot of money, they are in a position where they can get their congressperson, their senators to fix the tax system so that it favors them, and so they end up paying no taxes.
Well, it actually automatically does, though, because if you borrow money and keep your assets and borrow money, let your assets do the work. It will pay the taxes for you, and paying taxes is really where the bulk of our money goes. So the fair tax is really it really is a fair tax, and unfortunately, we're not going to get it from the top down. It's going to have to come from the bottom up, and we have to get the masses to actually do some work. Not expect it to be taken care of. So we need
all your mayors and if you can start with the mayor and the city council members, if you can start with them and get them all pumped up, because every mayor wants his town to be the saving haven of the world. He wants new industry. That's where it starts, I think. I don't know. It just appears to me started, then it just goes around. Before you know it, maybe the governor would be smart enough to go ahead and put it in place for your state.
Every level counts, and politicians want to be reelected. And if they find out that the people look what happened in New York. The most counterintuitive way to make a thriving city is to have a socialist mayor, and yet that's what they did. And
it's going to be the Great Babylon causing it to fall. We've always heard about the Great Babylon. It fell, because of stupid policies. This guy, is he trying to murder New York?
I think he lives in a rent-controlled apartment, I think, that he inherited. And,
So
he's never had to actually spend money. His mother is very wealthy, and his father is too, and also politically connected. So, he has never actually been in the real world where he has to have a job and pay taxes. So, so he doesn't think if anybody has ever read the story of the golden goose, the goose that laid the golden egg, I'm sorry. That's what's being played right now. They are killing the goose that lays the golden eggs in New York City. The people are moving out. The people that pay the taxes are moving out.
Who is it? Starbucks is closing down there.
Yeah, I read that Starbucks, and actually Canada is another example. 7-Eleven is leaving Canada. Now, that's the most basic commercial entity there is.
Yeah, that's not your high-end convenience store. It's just a place where you go get stuff when you need it real quick.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, but that's what happens when the government gets too big. We saw really interesting podcasts about what happened. The inflation was really not a thing until the Federal Reserve was became in 1913, and that's it. And since then, inflation has constantly eaten away. Yeah, if you follow the price of gold was $20 an ounce forever, and then when the Fed was was established, the price of gold has gone up, and that means that the dollar is being devalued. The less value there is to the dollar, the more value there is to gold.
Let's talk about gold and then gold certificates, because there are people that tell me, I've got gold, and all this kind of stuff. And I'll say, do you actually have like a gold piece that you can actually hold in your hand? I mean, what do you have? Oh, I've got a certificate. Because I want it in my hand now. I'm not going to take a certificate. I want it in my hand. I want to be able to hold it.
Right.
So what are your thoughts about certificates?
If you don't hold it, you don't own it.
You don't own it. Just like anything else. Yeah. You have a car, you have a house and a car, you don't own it because you always have to pay tax on it. Mm-hmm. And if they want to come take your car away from you, they can if you don't pay your taxes. So
yeah. Well, actually, and you have your car in your hand, but the gold, actually, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. You can tell that because the ETFs, the silver stocks and the gold stocks, they actually sell more stocks than they have gold or silver, and they can do that because there's a big play that people are coming in and out of the system. But once people actually demand their gold, that's when you find out how much there really is. And the first ones to take their money out are the ones that actually, and you don't get gold. And if you have a silver certificate or a gold certificate, you can't trade that in for gold or silver. You can turn it. You can sell it for $1, for dollar amounts, and then you can take those dollar amounts and buy gold or silver. Physical gold or silver, but they're the only ones. There are only certain entities that can actually get gold for their or gold or silver for their certificates, and they are people that are not you. So
okay, so
it's still not in your hand.
And it also sounds like people get in trouble for printing money, that didn't actually come from U.S. Treasury. Right. Is that not what that boils down to?
Exactly, and that's what happened. It was in 1913 that a private bank started printing money for the country, and they control how much money is available out there, and through that they control the interest rates and inflation and so on. So it's a system that's made to take the money out of the middle class.
That's the reason why you see Trump hitting so heavily on Commissioner Powell, or whatever they call him, for the Fed. He wants to get in there and straighten that place out. As a matter of fact, I bet if he had a chance, he'd close it down, because the Fed,
I wish they could.
The Fed's really screwed us up over 100 years now.
Oh, they have.
Alongside the income tax being allowed, and as well as the 17th Amendment, which allowed senators to become popular votes rather than the legislature picking them, the way the founders very smartly thought it up.
Well, they no longer represent the state.
They represent the nation or themselves, probably.
Right. So,
no, they do. So let's think about this. Okay, so let's say you have a credit card. Okay, and I'd like to know your thoughts about, in a minute, about what would happen to the credit cards if fair tax came through. So let's get the old calculator out. I love playing with calculator. It's a whole lot of fun, and everybody needs to do this. You will believe me, you'll be more in tune with your finances once you do that. So let's just say a bank charges let me clear that out. So let's just say that a bank. Let's say, and I think some banks actually want some people to like bounce checks, because I don't know what the fee is now, but I know it used to be $30. It's probably went up like everything else has.
Moneymaker, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, why wouldn't you? Because you can get your money anyway. So let's just say it's only $25. Okay. And you're a big bank, and so you have only 10,000 people out of your big nationwide bank bounces a check for the month of, say, December. Okay, that's a lot of money. I mean, because that's why I'm saying, do some people actually want us to start on bad times? Okay, let's just say $25 times 10 times 10,000. That's $250,000 on just on bank charges alone that you're charging.
Yeah, and they're not giving you any interest on your money that you have in the bank anyway, so you're losing. As the money stays in the bank, the value goes down, and so you take out less than you put in when you take it out.
But I'm talking about simple little bank charges that can happen.
Oh,
so $25, if it's only $25, I bet it's more than that. Times 10,000 people in the nation, let's just say only 10,000 people bounce a check. This bank has got $250,000 there.
They have that other scheme too, where you put your money in tonight, and they say it's going to be delayed, and they use it for 2 or 3 days to make money, and then they give you your say, okay, you can charge now. That's the same thing. They're making money off of that.
They're making your money.
I've only had an instance of bouncing a check, and it wasn't. We didn't bounce the check, but we very early on in our marriage, we had an extra refrigerator. When we bought our house, there was a refrigerator, and we replaced it, and so I sold it. And I didn't know then that you asked for cash, and I got a check that bounced, and we hadn't sold it for that much. I think that probably the value of the bouncing the check. But we had to pay a fee because they bounced the check. So
I've had to pay a fee because someone bounced a check on me.
Yeah. So
you had the last chance to get a good check, so you got to pay for it.
Well, I think it probably was collected at both ends. If they, the people who bounced the check, unless they were, it was a fraudulent check or whatever. But so I think it may be that it's double loaded. That they get money from both sides. Yeah, and I actually think that $25 may be a little low, because I was reading over some the literature from our bank, and I could be wrong, but I think it was $40, not $25.
Well, that's inflation for you.
I was giving the lowest possible denominator. I'm just saying $250,000 off of 10,000 people to bounce a check. $25, that's $250,000, and I'm with you. I think it's more than that.
Oh yeah. Very lucrative business.
And actually that goes up as the economy slows, the number of bounced checks increases, because they're people who through no fault of their own or just they come to the end of the month, they come to the end of their money before they come to the end of the month. So, and especially like, for instance, just with the government shutdown. It's very possible. We have structured our account to automatically pay all of our bills. Well, if I didn't have money coming in, unless I was very vigilant, that money would still be going out. I
wanted to read you something I just heard recently, and it has to do with banks. Let me get some eyeballs on here. This is the explanation of Swiss banking to a friend. Some guy had a friend. He said, I know this guy in Swiss banking, and he told me this. He said, the idea of Swiss banking is to take your money and our experience and turn it into our money and your experience. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about.
And also, I don't know, most people don't know this. And actually, I didn't know it until fairly recently. And that is, the money that you have in your account is not really yours. As soon as you give it to the bank, it becomes the bank's. They're the first holder. And at any time, they can't do it very often because obviously they wouldn't have customers. But, it has happened over the world that the bank, they need money. They will devalue and, take maybe a percentage of, I think it was Cyprus that it was one example where one morning people found out they didn't have all their money in their bank. They had some, but it wasn't the full amount. And the FDIC, the insurance on your money, don't count on it because there is not enough money in the system to cover.
There's no way. I've often thought of that. We went to a new bank when we moved here because we've been using a small local bank. And, you're covered if something happens. And I'm sitting there, no, you're not. There wouldn't be anything in the world to cover everybody.
Yeah, in individual instances, it is covered. But if it's a nationwide bankruptcy, it's going to be.
It's only, even if it's just individual, it's only up to a certain amount. So
it's $250,000, which for most people, most middle class people, that's a significant amount of money. But if you have that much in your savings,
if you have more than that, you better have gold in your hand and in your safety box, deposit box.
I'm talking in your hand. Absolutely,
exactly.
Guys. We're going to have to go into a commercial break. And we'll be right back in just a few minutes. We want to help you with your money, guys. So make sure you hang around for the next segment. We'll be right back.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show where truth matters. We've got some questions for you guys. Continue sending emails, by the way, Donna@donnasedge.com, Donna@donnasedge.com. Now, we had someone who won last month when you guys were here, and they actually won a gift certificate too, and they haven't picked it up yet. I haven't heard from them. I hope they haven't been in a bad accident or something has happened. But anyway, it's the first time that has ever happened.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Oh, yeah. So now I've got, okay, let's go through some Alabama folks first. Okay, so Glenda sent a message, and this is about inheritance tax. You know, we talk about this a lot. And so her thoughts about if President Trump does something and you don't pay taxes on your land that you own, that kind of thing, what would that do to inheritance tax, or would it do anything to inheritance tax?
Can I answer that? With the fair tax, you do not pay tax until you buy something at retail, a new good or service.
That includes house. Right.
So if you inherit $1 million, for instance, you don't pay any tax on that until you spend it. So on new goods and services. So it's across the board. That's what the fair tax is. So if you have any questions about any tax, any specific tax, that's the answer. Yeah. You spend the only time you pay tax is when you spend it.
And let's kind of step through it. If you have dividends on some stock that you've got, and you let them pile up, and they keep piling up, and they keep piling up, you won't pay any taxes until you cash those in and spend the money on new goods and services.
And even if you cash it in and stick it in your
wallet
bank, or whatever you do with it, you still don't pay any taxes until you spend that money. So that's across the board. That's the answer. So for what it's worth, it's very, very simple, and that's what is good about the fair tax. So,
once you pay the tax, you paid it.
Yeah.
David owns a small business, and he's here in Abbeville, South Carolina, and he has some concerns, because of the economy, the way the economy is. But he said that he knows what the media is telling us, but he said right now his business is doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So are they saying this on purpose, hoping you'll just not spend anything? I mean, what's the deal here?
President Trump is saying, and all of it, the Secretary of Treasury, they're all saying this is a great economy. And in fact, I was listening to Kudlow, and he and Charles Payne were talking, and they said, people think the economy is bad because of inflation, but inflation is not going up. It's not accelerating the way it was during the Biden administration. But there was a big leap, 19% leap in prices during the Biden administration, and that's not ever going to go away. But it will not increase as much, and we're starting out. We have a new beginning.
If you look at that period of time, there was the big COVID payout too, which put a whole bunch of money into the economy. And so, what happens? You get inflation when you have too many dollars chasing too few goods, and so that made that big step up to 9.1% or whatever inflation. And so that's back down to he's keeping it below 3. And I think growth has been above 3 for the last couple of times, but it's not this last time because of the close down. So there's going to be a little problem there. But they're thinking the thought is you look forward to the spring of next year, and that's when the story is going to really be told, because people are going to fill out their tax forms, and they will not have changed their tax forms for the big, beautiful bill. But then they're going to start seeing their gains by going to the new tax bill. And so they're going to see what's really happening, and it's going to change
that's when people are going to recognize.
They're going to recognize that they're a lot better off than they were a year ago.
Yeah, it's inflation is built in. I can remember I worked in a grocery store when I was a senior in high school, a time job as a cashier, and I remember selling bread for 29 cents a loaf. Now, when was the last time you saw 29 cents a loaf? It's not going to go back down, but hopefully it will not go up. The inflation will not be percentage-wise, right? So,
what you do though is you go back and you say, you look at her 29-cent bread, you look at the price of your bread, and you determine what the inflation was over that period of time. Then you can see, well, a lot of that stuff is about the same worth, same value as it was then. It's just the fiat money, the dollar number has gone up.
Well, that's because there's more dollars in circulation.
So you have a whole lot more dollars.
That's because the Fed is printing money.
They're printing money like crazy.
Yeah.
It is. And I remember when my dad this is 1960s, we were considered rich, because Dad made $100 a week and bread was 29 cents a loaf. So really, to me, it feels as though I know we're better off. We are. We're better off this year than we were when Biden was president.
Oh, yeah.
My business has grown. I mean, I never look forward to getting my taxes done. I can't wait until fair tax takes over. But I'm just saying I'm less nervous about it this next year than I was the year before.
Yeah.
Much less nervous
Actually,
about it.
Our daughter keeps pointing out, though, that's our generation. We have accumulated wealth, but it's not as easy for young people to do that because for many, many reasons, they're being sold a bill of goods. I am a big proponent of learning. I mean, I think learning knowledge is one of the most valuable things you can own. But I don't know that college is a learning experience anymore. No. And
I just read that the Northeast, the kids are coming to Southern colleges. They don't want to go to those Northeast colleges anymore because of all the stuff they've seen on TV. Why should I run the gauntlet to get to class every day when I can go to a school down in the South somewhere, Alabama or Auburn or Mississippi State or something like that, and get a good education and not have to put up with all that stuff? Well,
there's so much especially in government schools and public schools, that the agenda is not to teach. It's not to learn the basics of life. It is to be indoctrinated, and then indoctrinating in so many things that are so
useless.
Not just useless, but in many cases evil, I think. So
yeah, I do too. I mean, it's obvious there's a platform out there to try to destroy. And I think a lot of it is about population control. Why would you want to send the message out there that you could be confused about your gender? And then kids are getting mutilated because they're buying into this. They want to be part of something big. And so, but there's so many, I've seen testimonials of kids who've had it done that have just regretted it. They wish they had not done it. Mm-hmm. But they felt like they were, and then one kid was being interviewed, was a boy, now is a girl, and was being interviewed. And they asked him about, what his thoughts were was he going to have the sex of his dreams and all this kind of stuff. And he said, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the problem.
Yeah. Around with all those kids.
In the Middle East during the Middle Ages, they used to have eunuchs, and the purpose was to, it destroys their sexual drive and actually makes it impossible to procreate. So, they're
easily controlled.
Yeah. So it makes them docile. And you do the same thing with horses and cows, and it's we're being treated like livestock now. Yeah. And a lot of it is, I want to say by choice, but it's really not. I think it's because people are becoming indoctrinated. I just am horrified by the parents that think it's a good thing. That,
oh my goodness. I mean, if my kid came home and they said they were confused about no, take this, okay? I was a tomboy growing up. There were no girls in the neighborhood. As a matter of fact, I never went out the door. There was a window in my room, and I would climb out the window and go to the black willow tree and hang off that limb and go outside because I was such a tomboy. It was ridiculous. I never for once thought I was a boy. Mm-hmm. Never. So, I mean, it's they have that trait. That doesn't mean anything. Nope. There's so many different things. You're the only girl in the neighborhood. You hang out with the boys all the time. Maybe that's a little part of it, but they're telling you that it's this or it's that. It's either this or it's that. And you get to be part of something that's universal. It's going to be something that nobody else is doing. You're pioneering this thought that you have. That's what's screwing with their head.
I question the quality of life and it's not, I am happy the way I am. I don't have those, but, and I can't judge for somebody else, but I do question when I see, the bicycle rider, the naked bicycle riders out in San Francisco. I mean, what does that, what is that? What is that?
A bunch of exhibitionists.
Yeah. It's just proves some stupid point. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm really upset with the women's lib groups. I'm really upset. I grew up with the women lib group. Okay. Men are terrible and all this kind of stuff. We're not making money. Well, we've been set back 100 years through the Biden administration because of that. Where boys can play. I don't understand why these women livers aren't just getting all upset and going crazy. Billie Jean King did. Now she's not one of them anymore. But you're okay with a guy pretends to be a girl and he competes. He's going to win.
I heard someone say it's, the best women are men. The best women in sports are men.
Yeah, if you look at all the women of the year during the Biden administration, most of them were what's-its.
Yeah.
Beauty contest. There are men entering beauty contest and winning it. Well, you don't have a shot. If you're the most beautiful girl on earth, you're not going to win because it's all about an agenda. And the guy who's pretending to be a girl is going to be the winner of it. So I got this invitation to be part of the Food Network. Okay, but now it was a competition. Okay, it was a finalist kind of a thing. Well, I got to reading the application, all the stuff that I had to fill out, and I told Phil, I said, I'm not even going to mess with it. And he said, "Why?" I said, "It'll be a total waste of my time. What are they going to do? Give me a camera? That's all I go. So I'll just buy a camera. I don't need their camera." But the questions they were asking, you could tell it was designed that they wanted someone to win who's going to be confused about their sex. It's going to be one of those. I said, I don't have a shot in it. I'm a woman, lousy one, but I'm proud to be one. I really am. I'm not confused about anything. Yeah. So I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win. I don't see
the real sad thing for them is that the guys that are thinking they're changing, they're never going to be the opposite sex. Sorry.
No,
You just
it's
gonna mutilate yourself.
it's
when
just
you're
really
done.
sad. I can't feel any animus towards the people who are in that
They've been
situation,
led.
but I do feel a great deal of sympathy, because I can't imagine that they would ever reach the level of happiness that you can feel when you have a mutually a mutual admiration for someone who is and the great joy that you can feel when you have children. That
Like Mary Lynn and I.
did you have them or did she have them? Because nowadays you get either one.
I don't remember.
Either one of you. But
I was going through a spell at the time. I don't remember.
Yeah, when we were growing up, there were absolutes. There were men and there were women.
Yeah.
There were 2 plus 2 always equaled 4, unless
Every time we tried.
yeah. So
there you go. But you know something. And I'll say this: I'll get out on the grandstand and I'll be one of your favorite people if I can just see a man have a monthly cycle. I want to when you can, I'm going to root for you.
yeah.
That is never going to. But this is the thing: they only want to dress up in makeup and the clothes and get your nails done, stuff like that. But they don't want to go through all this other stuff that women have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to take that part too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you'll take that part, well, then I'll root for you. I'll root for the thing.
Well,
But that ain't going to happen.
yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's somebody out there trying to figure out a way to make it happen so that the
You're
men
more
can
on
get
it. You
pregnant.
want it to happen. I'll just say that. It won't be
What about
fun.
more?
I mean, it's not the glamorous thing that you think it is.
Mm-mm.
So yeah,
Nope.
yeah, it's kind of a different world, and these kids are having to grow up in that. But I'm seeing some young kids though that seem to be turning it around. I don't know if it's because they realize their parents made stupid decisions, and they're thinking, I don't want to be like my parents. I don't want to grow up in the basement. I want a life. I want to make my own money. I want my own income. I'm seeing some of those kids emerging.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're emerging because a lot of the things that the previous generations have been up against, it's not happening during these kids' lifetime. So they're not seeing the stuff that got us to where we are now, and so as much as the ones that are in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And so the Gen Z are supposedly going to be the guys that turn it around.
Yeah. I think it's evolving. There's always the scale always goes in both directions over time.
And one thing that's pointed out by the Mondani Trump meeting the other day is that a lot of the people that voted for Trump voted for Mondani. So that people are starting to say, hey, wait a minute. A lot of the things that Mondani is saying is clicking with them because they mean something, but it's just that the way he's trying to affect it is not the right way to go. And I think the president co-opted him by having him in because now Mondani is kind of losing face amongst his people. They're saying, wait a minute, what's going on? He's talking to the president. He was calling him a fascist. And look, they asked him if he still thought that the president was a fascist, and the president said, go ahead and say it because you don't have to do all that talking around it. Just say it. It's all right. Say it.
Yeah, well, I think
He's
you have to look at the population of New York City too. It's very different from.
Yeah.
It's a different culture altogether. Regardless of who you are, it's a different culture. When you live where you live and have skills in that you can't use in a city like that.
Right.
So
with all the illegal immigration that's happened there and people slowly moving out that were originals, you got this whole new constituency of folks that live in New York, and that's
New York's always been that way.
Yeah, but it's really, really much more worse.
Much more worse.
Yeah, but let's just say this. Okay, so you were middle class, and now you're going down. I mean, you're just about to be poor. But now I'm seeing this influx of illegals coming in. You put them up in the best Plaza motels.
Yeah.
They're getting their laundry done. You're giving them food. You're giving them allowance. You're giving them $5,000 a month, doing all that. But they're not helping you out, and you've been living here forever paying taxes. Is that not even the simplest Democrat is going to eventually go, that's enough?
I don't know. if the mayor-elect can do some of those things to some degree over the next 4 years, that might all work out for him. But I don't see how it can maintain itself, because the people that would be paying for all that are leaving, and that's a fact.
Socialism always fails. It can't, because of human nature. It cannot work. But I think what's happening, you got a big stage up there, and when Starbucks says, "Well, we're not going to be here anymore," when you have to put everything behind, glass locked cabinets. When if you want to go in and buy a tube of toothpaste, you have to go to the.
Who's next?
Yeah, really, it can't be. It won't be America. So
I was part of this big cosmetic company. They're the biggest in the world. And this was back when Brad was a teenager. So I had this opportunity to move to New York. Their headquarters is in the Trump Plaza, one of the Trump plazas, pretty close to Times Square. And it was really interesting. It really was. I almost took it, but I didn't do it, because when I did the math, I wouldn't be coming out ahead at all. Paycheck, but living there. And you would need to live in the city. You wouldn't have, nothing's convenient to me if you don't have your own car. And you can, if you got to take a cab for everything, you're in the cold, you're in the rain, you're in all this. To me, it just wasn't worth it. All my friends thought I was crazy for turning down this job. And I said, I don't see how I'd be coming ahead at all. I don't get it. First of all, you would have to look the part. You would have to spend all this stupid amount of money on clothes, shoes, all this kind of stuff, which I'm a penny pincher. Yeah. I would not fit in the company, first of all, for that. And another thing, I'm not a liberal. I would not have fit in. They would have found a way to have gotten rid of me anyway. Right. So I just didn't see the point. I'm just seeing New York taking this turning point big time, because you're not going to have your moneymaker there, just like you guys said. The poor people are going to be the ones who face it. They're not going to be able to afford to leave. They're going to be stuck there. They're going to be living in subways. It's just going to be horrible for those folks. There'll be no middle class. You're going to see what Russia saw. That's what you're going to. Absolutely.
That's the reason why he's trying to make buses and all that stuff free, so people have a place to stay.
Okay, let's go to a commercial break. We've got to take the last one. We'll be right back.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends, because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef, or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one, as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna. Quit whispering sweet nothings in her ear during the commercial break. Did you see him? I'm Donna. There you go. Oh, I'm glad I'm not a diabetic. So, but thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Donna. I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show and radio talk show, where truth matters. We're back with Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey. And so we have someone who won your, and they're begging for this book, okay? They want to win.
Oh, good.
That's Amanda McGee. And Amanda actually lives in Sand Mountain.
Oh, okay.
She had a question for you, and this pertains to the prebate check. Mm-hmm. And this is what she's calling it. Mm-hmm. And so she wants to say, how can that possibly be? And about family size, and are you sure that only American citizens are going to be getting? Amanda, they're sure of it, or they wouldn't be putting it out there. But yeah, only legal citizens of the United States will be getting this.
That's correct. The way you do that, Amanda, is that you got to be a citizen you got to be a verified citizen of the United States. You can be a resident because residents are considered citizens they get green card or whatever. So you got to be a citizen or resident of the United States. You got to have a no kidding verifiable Social Security number, and you have to you'll have to fill the one form you'll have to fill out for the fair taxes. You'll have to submit a form saying, I opt into the prebate program, because you don't have to do the prebate if you don't want to. If you don't want that money, you can just let the government keep it, which would be dumb. So
I'll be in line to get it. I'll put it to you that way.
And so the head of household fills out this form and says, I am so-and-so. Here's my Social Security number. Here's my legal address in the United States. Here are my one dependent, my 18 dependents, however many you got. And they live with me, and here are their Social Security numbers, and send me my check. So that's the way it works.
Oh, you have to consider too with the fair tax, there aren't all of the ins and outs that you have of the income
simple
of the income tax. It doesn't have to be audited or monitored or anything like that. So there's more ability to scrutinize that. Now there will be people who cheat. There always are, but it can be minimized. And
we did a little study, and it looks like the amount of cheating would go down about 90% because of all the legal loopholes and everything that are in the income tax system. All that junk goes away, and so there's no way. Right now, Mary Lynn sits over in the corner and she fills out all this stuff, and she lies all the time on these forms. And so she can get away with that for a while until they finally figure out what she's doing. But with the fair tax, you pay your money and you're done. There's nobody coming to look at how much money you make. They don't care what you do for a living. They don't care any of that stuff because they've got your money.
Well, if you consider too that with the fair tax, you pay the tax when you buy something, right. So it's not and licensed. If you're for retail goods, the people you're buying from have a license, and they would have that at risk if they don't collect that tax. But the other thing is, look at all the books that are written on how to avoid avoid the income tax. I mean, you can go.
That's our competition.
No, but there are all kinds of books out there that tell you if you do this trick, you can cut your taxes in half.
No, she said, "Do this trick."
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, it's like a maze that you wander through with the fair tax.
You better get a current book because the laws change every single year. One year is not going to work next year.
And your small business question, he's got to go figure out that stuff every year to keep up, because if he doesn't, he's going to be in deep kimchi, as we used to say.
But again, the monitoring that's necessary for the fair tax is much, much less than it would be that's necessary.
Let me just tell you how it goes. Only retailers, because there are businesses and then there are retailers. There's no business to business tax, so there's none of that funny stuff for income tax or Social Security, any of that stuff. None of that's is involved in the fair tax. But the fair tax covers what the Social Security would be, and the payout and everything's still the same. But the retailer is responsible to collect that tax, and that retailer is going to get reimbursed to collect that tax. He sends it to the state taxing authority. In our state, it'll be the Alabama Department of Revenue Sales Tax Division. I think they ought to call it a consumption tax division, because it's a consumption tax rather than a sales tax. Sales tax is a different connotation. Mm-hmm. So it goes from the retailer to the state, and then the state collects that money, and they get reimbursed to be the collector for the Fed. They send that money directly to the Treasury, and it's done. Mm-hmm. The audit goes Treasury, state to retailer. There are a heck of a lot fewer retailers in the world than there are taxpayers. For instance, right now there are about 25 million or so retailers in the United States that would collect this tax. How many people fill out income tax forms? Something like 160 million. So you can see the complexity right there, just 160 million income tax filers compared to 25 million retailers. And those retailers, about 80% of them are big box stores like Target and Walmart, and they ain't going to cheat because their business is full if they cheat. So where you'll have the small businesses where you'll see the people try to cheat, but it won't be done. Because if you look at the sales tax now, the state of California being as bad as they are, their sales tax, they did a study, and their sales tax cheating was only about 2%. So you can see sales tax is harder to cheat on because you got a retailer that's responsible for collecting that.
Well, most people are paying by credit card and debit cards and stuff like that. They're not doing cash. So it was easier back in the day when people paid with cash because they just put it in their pocket.
Yeah.
Whatever
So
people paid for.
That in a big nutshell is what you get with the fair tax as far as the prebate and how you spend your money and everything.
Alicia's got a question for you guys. We've got about 3 minutes left in this segment. Her question, it comes down to Alabama politics. She thinks that Doug Jones is going to be the Democrat running for office, and then Tuberville, of course, the Republican running for office. And she wants to know if you could make any predictions on how either one of those two, would either one of them be for a fair tax?
Well, we talked to the Senate Pro Tem, Garland Gudger, and we were trying to get him to do something with it this year, and he said, well, the gov's not going to do anything. She's set for life now. She's not going to shake the bushes next year, so you'll have a better chance with Tommy Tuberville because we're pretty much sure he's going to be. You got to have a big crash for him not to make governor, and so what we need to do is be talking to him and his people and getting him on board. And
we're trying to do that. We haven't been able to reach him yet, but
the thing is, he's I've heard him with my own little ears a couple of times saying, I want to get rid of the IRS. So you take that and you peel it down to the state level. And so you think, well, he wants to get rid of the income tax in Alabama if he wants to make a go of it. So that's a fairly good sign of which direction you go. We just got to get in and talk to him and get him spun up on what we're trying to do with the Alabama Economic Freedom Act.
We've also heard that he's interested in getting rid of the property tax, like they're talking about in Florida, and the fair tax can do that very, very easily. Yeah, it's just it's so simple, so.
Well, you increase the rate a couple of pennies to cover.
Actually, it's not even a couple of pennies.
Yeah,
it's just.
I went back and looked. I've been quoting the wrong number.
Okay.
So it's a couple of pennies on stuff you buy, but it's still less than what they're paying for state sales tax and local tax now.
And at the basic level.
Just when you buy something and still paying property tax and income tax.
Right. And at the basic level, you get the prebate. With the prebate, you don't pay any taxes at all up to the poverty level. So, it really is so minimal and so easy that we hope we can get him interested. We're reaching out, but so far, and in fact, if your audience could contact Tuberville's office right now, he's in the Senate.
Everybody knows Tuberville. Give him a call.
And give him a call or write him an email and say we want the fair tax. At
state level.
At the state level. Yeah.
And continue it. Tell all of your friends to do it too. Okay?
Right. And because I think that if we can get him involved in that, we can have it in the country, in the whole country.
He's a very strong person, and he'll do it if he believes in it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for being with us. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on it. I'm for it. Since day one, when I went to that meeting in Fort Payne, Alabama, I've been on it with you. But again, thank you guys so much for being with us, and thank you all so much for watching the show. Definitely appreciate that. And continue sending email, because I'm just telling you, when I get an email from you, Phil can tell you, it just makes my day. I'm just like a little kid running around saying, I got another email. I got another one. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.